Good morning, Flight Fam. How you doing? Ah, it's a nice morning. Not too cold yet. You know, they say it's gonna rain a lot today, so just hope I'm gonna get some work done. Otherwise, it's another day without pay. So I was telling you about my dream, or fantasy, or what should you call it? Having a high altitude balloon at the area of the North Pole. You know, brings some serious challenges. But on the other hand, those are kind of nice challenges, because if you get some good quality imagery from the north, we might have some answers there. You know, if we can have a nice view of the North Pole, that would tell us a lot. And we all know that if you go on Google Earth, Bing Maps, what have you, it's not there. So we can actually have something that represents it by our own means, you know, not depending on someone else. I got a few hunches, ideas, but the biggest problem is getting a balloon up there, recording data. Well, that can be done with an FPV setup. Keep it focused on north. That can be maybe done by gimbal work and, you know, some servo management. I don't know. If I look at altitude balloons, they are kind of wobbly, so I'm not sure about that yet. But it's about retrieving the data or the hardware after lunch. Maybe you should launch it before lunch or after lunch. I don't know. But anyway, without going into dinner time, when the high altitude balloon pops, your payload is gonna drop about, you know, 8 miles from where it popped. But the flight in general is about between 60 and 100 miles. You know, that's quite a distance. Doing that up north, you tend to get into watery areas. So we gotta still think about how to retrieve the payload. That's kind of tricky. Again, one can do it, I think, with an FPV setup. But then retrieving is probably the most costly part of this whole thing. So yeah, it's kind of iffy about how, why, and what. it sure is a nice dream. And you know, I try not to keep it a dream, because I think we actually have to do something to figure out what is in the north, and I think in the end we gotta do something to figure out what's in the south. And yeah, once we figure that out, that would be a giant piece of work for us all. You know, getting the telemetry data and stuff, that's not that hard. All we gotta do is get a good quality transmitter on the payload and have a good receiving antenna. I think the FPV world has got enough on that. It's just that you're gonna lose the payload, and that's kind of sad. You know, I don't know that you shouldn't be materialistic, but for a guy like me on a budget, I'm not all too iffy about, you know, dropping a lot of coin into a one-way trip. So when I do, that means I have to sacrifice some stuff, like quality of image, because telemetry is not the problem. You know, whatever you do, you gotta have the telemetry data no matter what. That's something you cannot go without, especially in such a venture like this. But the imaging stuff, yeah, that's where you're gonna sacrifice stuff, because that's the most expensive part in the end, especially if you do not retrieve it. So yeah, that's something I gotta think about. And well, tell me, what do you think about it? Because, you know, I can be all here on my own. And Rodrigo, yeah, I got your message and I watched Wayne Killen. And yeah, I'm gonna learn a lot. But still, more input means more thoughts, means more solutions. Well, thank you, friends, family. I love you all.